Our presentation is going to be on South America. In terms of where South America is, you want to look to the west, which is the Pacific Ocean. To the northeast and southeast is the Atlantic Ocean. To the south is the Southern Ocean. And to the northwest is North America, connected by the Isthmus of Panama. Through the image provided, you can see that the shape is triangular. Towards the top, you can see how it is thicker and how it narrows out as you go to the west. South America has a population of about 43 million and has a square mileage of about 6,890,000. Next, we'll be focusing on nations and major capitals of South America. Here I have 12 lists, and we'll be starting with number 1, which is Argentina, with a major capital of Buenos Aires. This holds a strong influence of culture and economy to its nation and promotes this idea of itself to South America. Number 2, we have Bolivia, which has a major capital of Sucre and La Paz, and this holds a significant role in government, holding both a constitutional capital and a seat in government itself. Number 3, we have Brazil, which has a major capital of Brasilia. This is the largest country in both South America and Latin America, and you can see this through the map that I have provided to you. It is the dark green. Number 4, we have Chile, which has a major capital of Santiago, and this holds a high standard of living based on the economy that is provided for itself. Number 5, we have Colombia, which has a major capital, Bodega, and this promotes growth economy. So as you see different advances in technology and agriculture, you're going to see Colombia try to grow with these as well. Number 6, we have Ecuador, which has a major capital of Quito, and this is an export nation which has a high rate of agricultural products being exported out of it. Number 7, we have Guyana, which has a major capital of Georgetown, and this is a nation that focuses on its rainforest economy. So the Amazon rainforest runs through Guyana, and it promotes its resources and takes advantage of the opportunity that it gives to them. Number 8, we have Paraguay, which has a major capital of Ayushia. This is key to ocean transport as it is along the coast, and it promotes the import and export of agricultural and mineral resources to the nations. Number 9, we have Peru, which has a major capital of Lima, and this holds historical influences as well as agricultural developments which can promote ideas to the other nations. 10, we have Suriname, which has a major capital of Paramaribo, and this serves as an exporter to the natural resources that it's collecting, such as iron and oil. Number 11, we have Uruguay, which has a major capital of Montevideo, and this is a nation that is politically stable and has a large middle class and holds kind of an ideal, realistic representation of what it wants the other nations of South America to be. At number 12, we have Venezuela, which has a major capital of Caracas, and this is an important nation due to its establishment of its oil reserves. Moving on, we have major landform places. So at the western coast of South America, we have the Andes Mountains, which is the largest constitutional mountain range in the world. Then you can go on and see the Amazon Basin, which is a part of the Amazon rainforest that flows through many nations in South America. This is the largest tropical rainforest in the world. Then, on the opposite hand, we have the driest place on the planet, and that is located in Chile, which is called the Atacama Desert. In Patagonia, you can see the grassland desert and arid steppes. Then you have the world's largest tropical wetlands, and that is going to be called Pantanal. On the opposite hand, you can have very mountainous terrains with high plateaus in South America as well, and you're going to call this the Guiana Highlands. Lastly, you have a lowland region in South America, and that is called the Gran Chaco. Other factors that make up South America are both its climate and its rivers and lakes. So starting off with climate, you're going to have a different climate varying on where you are in South America. So if you're in a tropical climate, such as the Amazon Basin, you're going to have high temperatures and rainfall, creating an atmosphere that is humid. If you're in the desert climate, such as the Atacama Desert in Chile, this is one of the driest places on the earth, and so the high temperature is going to be present with minimal water in the air. If you have a temperate climate such as Uruguay or southern Brazil, you're going to have very distinct seasons with a temperate climate as the seasons change. If you're in a highland climate such as the Andes Mountains, you're going to have varying temperatures based on the altitude that you're in. This area tends to be colder and have moisture in the air. If you're in the Mediterranean climate such as central Chile, you're going to have dry summers and wet winters based on the area of Chile that you're in. The subtropical climate, which presents hot, humid summers and mild winters. On the other hand, you have rivers and lakes that make up South America, being the Amazon River, the Panara River, the Orco River, the San Francisco River, and the Magdalena River. These are all waterways that flow through South America to provide to these nations that accompany it. Lakes, you have examples of the Morocco Lake or the Laguna de Termos, which are major water sources for the regions of Latin America, varying between Venezuela, Bolivia, Peru, Brazil, etc. Now we're moving on to the major resource bases in South America. I have 3 of them being minerals, energy, and agriculture. Brazil is a major producer of gold and bauxite, as well as a reserve for iron. It's created major advances for the steel industry, as well as Chile, which is a major producer of copper, which is used for construction and electricity, as well as lithium. Peru, on the other hand, also creates a major production for copper, but much like Brazil, produces gold as well. For energy, Venezuela and Brazil are very rich in oil preserves, while Argentina has oil preserves as well, but also gas reserves. Agriculture has Brazil, which is an exporter of resources like soybeans, coffee, sugar, and beef. Argentina also has beef and soy.
Alright, now let's talk about South America, population, urbanization, civilizations, and culture. South America, the fourth largest continent by area, is a diverse region known for its rich history, cultural heritage, and vibrant population. It's home to approximately 440 million people who live across a mix of bustling metropolises and remote, sparsely populated regions. Now we're gonna look at the key aspects of South America, focusing on its population size, major urban centers, historical civilizations, and cultural identities. These dimensions highlight the human aspects of South America while reflecting on its significance as a region of historical and contemporary importance. Okay, we'll first look at the approximate population size of the region. South America's population of approximately 440 million makes it one of the most populous regions in the whole world. The distribution of the population across the continent is uneven due to factors such as geography, economic development, and historical settlement patterns. The coastal areas, particularly along the Atlantic Ocean in Brazil and northern coastline, are the most densely populated, while the interior regions like the Amazon rainforest and the Andean highlands remain sparsely populated. Let's have a look at the most populated nations and major cities. South America is marked by a blend of vast nations and highly urbanized centers. Among its 12 sovereign nations, Brazil, Colombia, and Argentina are the most populated, with their major cities serving as economic and cultural hubs. Brazil stands out as the most populous country in South America, with an estimated population of 216 million in 2024. Its urban landscape is dominated by cities like São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and Brasilia. São Paulo, with a population of over 12 million in its metropolitan area, is Brazil's economic powerhouse. It is a global city renowned for its financial sector, cultural institutions, and industrial base. Rio de Janeiro, home to approximately 6.7 million people, is famous for its scenic beauty, including the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue and the Sugarloaf Mountain. The city is also known for its vibrant carnival, one of the largest and the most extravagant festivals in the whole world. Brasilia, the nation's capital, is a planned city designed by architect Oscar. With a population of about 3 million, it serves as the political heart of Brazil and is recognized for its modernist architecture. The second most populous nation is Colombia. Colombia has a population of around 52 million. Its major cities, including Bogota and Medellin, are vital to the country's economy and culture. Let's move on to major civilizations and histories. South America's history is rich and layered, shaped by the interplay of indigenous civilizations and European colonization. Pre-Columbian civilizations. Before the arrival of Europeans, South America was home to advanced indigenous civilizations that demonstrated remarkable achievements in agriculture, architecture, and governance. The Inca Empire was the most prominent pre-Columbian civilization, spanning large parts of modern-day Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Chile. Colonial era. The colonization of South America began in the late 15th century after the voyages of Christopher Columbus. The Treaty of Tordesillas divided the continent between Spain and Portugal, leading to the establishment of Spanish colonies in the west and the Portuguese colonies in the east, which is modern Brazil. Alright, I'll go over the major languages and religions. South America's cultural identity is deeply tied to its languages and religions, reflecting both its indigenous heritage and European influences. Languages. Spanish and Portuguese dominate the linguistic landscape of South America, but indigenous languages remain an integral part of the region's cultural identity. Spanish. As the official language of the most South American nations, Spanish is spoken by approximately 200 million people. Each country has its unique accent and vocabulary, adding to their linguistic richness. Portuguese. Spoken by about 216 million people, Portuguese is the primary language of Brazil. Let's now talk about the religions. Christianity is the predominant religion in South America, with a significant Roman Catholic majority. Roman Catholicism. Introduced by Spanish and Portuguese colonizers, Catholicism is practiced by about 70% of the population. It has deeply influenced South American culture, from religious festivals to architectural landmarks. Protestantism. Protestant denominations have gained significant ground in recent decades, particularly in Brazil and Chile, reflecting changing religious dynamics.
Looking at the cultural influences in South America through the indigenous European African immigrants in the United States, you have the indigenous who came to South America before the arrival of the Europeans, and you can see pieces of their culture in Chile, in the Inca ruins in Peru, and Maui through the creation of Easter Islands. The Europeans are representative through agriculture, music, and other regions in South America brought by the Portuguese, French, and Spanish colonizers. You also have Africa, who had colonizers come with slaves who implemented their culture, immigrants who came from Italy, Germany, Lebanon, South Asia, and Japan, who made up Brazil, and the United States, who have projected themselves through television and other medias. Cover social customs, folklore, and dances. Social customs from South America consist of greetings. Greetings in South America have individuals kiss them on the cheek or have a handshake as a sign of respect. In Brazil, it is common to have between 2 or 3 kisses on the cheek before greeting the individual. Folklore, you have an example of La Llorona, which is known as a weeping woman who threw her children into a lake and now roams crying in search of them. Dances, an example is the tango, which is part of Argentina's culture and displays passion and drama through dance. The next slide is on political structure, organization, and issues. Political structure, you have South America having countries such as Argentina, Chile, and Brazil that are under the function of a government where a presidential candidate is running with the head of the state as well as the government. You also have federal states dividing their power between nations and regional governments as well, followed by unitary states such as Chile and Peru, who have their power being controlled over the central government. Political organizations, you have legislatures, judicial systems. The judicial systems are based on independence, where the Supreme Court is at the top, while the legislatures have 2 houses working for the making decisions in Brazil and Argentina. However, in Peru and Venezuela, you have 1 house making laws for all of them. Political issues, 2 examples of this are economic inequality through the lack of environment equality, through the skewing of wealth distribution as the economy presents growth within itself, as well as environmental issues through Brazil's deforestation of the Amazon rainforest, impacting the community as well as climate in the area.
South America, economic organization, level of development, and economic development issues. South America features diverse economies from industrialized nations like Brazil to resource-reliant countries like Bolivia. Economic organization. The region relies on agriculture, mining, and services. Brazil leads with its agricultural exports, strong industrial sector, and growing services industry. Chile, a world leader in copper mining, benefits from stable policies and trade agreements. Level of development. South America is a middle-income region with disparities. Argentina and Uruguay rank higher in HDI due to advanced infrastructure and education. Venezuela and Bolivia struggle with poverty and political instability. Economic challenges. Commodity dependence. Economies reliant on exports like soybeans or copper are vulnerable to global price changes. Inequality. High income disparity exists, with urban elites far wealthier than rural populations. Corruption. Scandals like Brazil's Lava Jato operation have slowed progress. Environmental risks. Deforestation in the Amazon threatens sustainability. Let's finally talk about social form and social issues. Social forms. Social hierarchies are shaped by colonial history. mestizos dominate many nations while indigenous and Afro-descendant groups face inequalities. Family plays a vital social role, with extended networks supporting traditions. Social issues. Poverty. Nearly 30% live below the poverty line, particularly in rural and indigenous communities. Education and healthcare. These vary widely. While Uruguay excels, others like Venezuela face infrastructure collapse. Gender inequality. Progress is notable in politics, such as Bolivia's high female parliamentary representation. Crime. Drug trafficking and violence are critical concerns in Colombia and Venezuela. Migration crises such as Venezuela's have led to mass migrations impacting neighboring nations like Colombia.